Hello everyone and welcome to yet another recreational programming session with Mr. Azozin. Today we're looking at a very interesting thing actually. It is called M4. So it's a macro language, not the thing you thought. Right, it's a general purpose macro processor included in most Unix-like operating systems. And maybe you never actually heard about this thing, and maybe you did, right? If you're hardcore Linux nerd, you probably know what it is. And if you don't, you probably don't, right? It's kind of like a very interesting niche thing. But essentially, it's something that the C preprocessor is kind of modeled after, right? Imagine a slightly more, maybe not even slightly, but on steroids, C preprocessor that is not bound to C itself, but you can use on its own. Imagine that. This is M4. Right, it's basically a more powerful C preprocessor that is not a part of C, and you can just use it on its own. And it has a slightly different syntax. It doesn't require hashes and stuff like that, but you can just define a variable, as you can see. So here we are defining a variable, and then you can just use this variable throughout the code, right? So, and yeah, so it's not really used very much in many places. But it has a few niches. It has a few niches that where it is actively used, specifically in auto. Yeah. People know. So it's kind of like not really used very much anymore, but it kind of settled in these very specific niches that it's just like used very, very fucking actively. And outside of these niches, it kind of died out and nobody really cares about it anymore. Right, if you want to use AutoTools, and AutoTools is basically the generator of building scripts, the generator of building scripts, the kind of CMake style thingy. Right, so this is the CMake before we had CMake, essentially. Right, and to generate scripts that generate scripts that generate scripts, this is a very good place where you can use M4 actually, right? So because it makes it a little bit easier. Right, so what I want you to do, I want you to actually not only look into it, right? I would like to, yeah, there was a very weird idea that we had on Discord, is that I would review this weird language and also try to do a Raylib speedrun on it. Maybe not speedrun, but can I try to use Raylib from this weird language, right? So because Raylib is so goddamn fucking cross-platform, you can use Raylib from anything. Okay, can you use it in M4? Yeah. But what's interesting is that I don't think you can on its own, but M4 is open source. So that means theoretically, you can maybe add some commands that, you know, call some Raylib functions, because this entire thing, at least GNU M4, is written in C, and since it's written in C, that means potentially I can link it with Raylib, right? So, and yeah, so that may work. So does it sound interesting? So that gives us an opportunity to look at an old, interesting macro language, explore its source code, modify it, and then try to extend it. So I think that sounds interesting, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So, and it's also a good exercise in working with somebody else's source code, right? It's kind of similar to what we did with memcached video. Do you guys remember that? I think. So let me actually go to YouTube, if YouTube even opens, because it's kind of banned in Russia, right? So, well, it's not banned, it's slowed down. So quite often I can't even open it. As you can see, it doesn't even open. Right, so, but one of the things I can do actually is maybe just put a to-do for myself. Right, so to be done, link to cached video, right? So, and it's basically the video, the stream where we explored the source code of memcached and we extended it and stuff like that. And before, M4 requires a very specific AutoTools version to build. That would be funny, right? That would be funny if that happens. But I mean, it is what it is, and it isn't. This is a live stream. Anything can happen in here. Literally anything can happen. So Let's go. So let's maybe start with taking a look at M4 itself. Let's not try to extend it. Let's try to learn it because I don't fucking know it, right? So I'm about to extend something that I don't know how to fucking use because I usually don't do any auto tools, right? So I usually work with CMake. So we don't even have M4. That's a great start. That's a great start. How are you supposed to try to modify something that you don't even have installed? Right, so here's my root console. Can I do xbs query, query rs M4. Do we have M4? Yeah, we do have M4. Okay, so let's actually do install, and hopefully that will install that shit. Okay, so now we do in fact have M4. Doesn't do anything. I suppose it probably reads the standard input. That's probably what happens. Usually when you start some Unix programs and they don't do anything and they feel like they hang, they are looking for some input. Maybe it is actually looking for some of the commands. Can I just put this thing... Oh yeah, I was just copy-pasting it in here. There we go. So I copy-pasted this thing in here, and then I can do h2 count, right? So I input that. Okay, so it can actually not only work as the C preprocessor, it can actually stream. That's actually kind of cool. So you can even like send this thing over the network, and it will just render the document as it receives the M4 script. This is kind of cool, actually. This is kind of cool. All right, so we have that. But I wonder if I put some of that stuff to you know, to a file, how do you work with that? So M4, it does in fact accept a file, right? So it does in fact accept a file. So maybe we can actually just create some sort of a thing in here. So it's going to be program. So probe, right? So we probe in some stuff in here. So this is garbage. I want to actually remove that. Right. So we don't care about it. M4. And in here, as far as I know, you literally use M4. Yeah, you literally use M4 extension. So an Emacs being an old ass editor, it does have a highlight for an old ass macro system. So it all makes sense. So let's actually define something. Right, can we define... yeah, so we define nice. And nice is going to be 69, right? And then you say put nice in here, right? So do M4, main M4, and there we go. So that actually created all of that. It also created a bunch of new lines in here. Look at that. So it created a bunch of new lines, and I suppose these new lines correspond to these lines, because it kind of, I guess, interprets this entire thing literally. So, and I remember there was, yeah, so there is a thing called DNL. DNL macro causes M4 to discard the rest of the line, thus preventing unwanted blank lines from appearing in the output. It's a classical case of a software doing some stupid fucking default shit, and you have to explicitly disable it. Old software do be like that, right? So old software usually have some stupid defaults, and usually you have to disable those defaults explicitly. That's a very good sign of old software from the times where people didn't really care much about UX, right? So it's just like whatever. I suppose the thing we can do in here, we can put DNL and DNL in here. Oh, look at that. The model actually highlights it as a comment. Right, so I can just put it in here, and if I try to do something, it doesn't include all this line. So if you don't want a certain command to create an empty line, right, just put this thing in here. Man, it kind of reminds me of the joke that I did about WinAPI. Because WinAPI is also old shed API, old-ass shed API, and it also suffers from the same shady default that nobody gives a fuck about, that you have to explicitly disable, otherwise it's gonna fuck you up. It suffers from the same kind of syndrome. And I remember like joking on the Twitter, but I can't find the tweet exactly, that the way you have to use Windows API, you have to do like file open, right? So the file name, read mode, and then you have to say, okay, don't nuke my house, right? So, and if you forget to put this mask in here, well, it's going to nuke your house, right? Because, like, obviously, file open nukes your house by default. Obviously, you have to disable it. Like, you dumb, you didn't read documentation? Like, why didn't you read documentation? Like, obviously, it fucking nukes your house. Obviously, it fucking does that. You have to disable that, right? It's all on you. It's all. We don't suck at UX. Excuse me, we put that in the documentation. You just didn't read it, so it's all on you. It kind of reminds me of that. And WinAPI is like that, like everywhere. Right? Don't close randomly, exactly. Anyways. So this is the thing we have, and there's like a lot of different macros in here. So you can do defines and stuff like that. But as far as I know, you can also do recursion, don't you? That would be actually kind of interesting. So M4 manual. Oh my god, no! I'm blind. For fuck's sake. So I don't know. Is there maybe? I guess we have to suffer through that, right? So I guess we have to suffer. So invoking M4, how to invoke macros, how to define new macros. Is there? I'm interested. Wait. There's a if else. If else. So there was a if else. So if def. So you can define foo is defined and then define and blah 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 blah. So I don't really want to install Dark Reader, honestly. I could install it, but it just makes everything freaking slow. And didn't I install it already at some point? I don't freaking remember. Let's install Dark Reader. Debit card, pay, but I mean, I just want to install it. Add to Firefox. Alright. Add it already, Jesus. Okay, go away. Alright, so we got that. So was edited, go away. Thank you so much, I really appreciate that. So what I'm interested in is recursion. Okay, conditional loops and recursion. So macros expanding to plain text perhaps with arguments are not quite enough. We would like to have macros expand to different things based on decision taken at runtime. For that we'll need some kind of conditionals. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Like recursion by itself is kind of useless, right? So unless you can stop it, right? So the recursion that doesn't stop, like you can't do anything useful with that. All right, so okay, so you do if def, you can check that a certain variable is defined, right? So it's defined, then you can print something upon that. So construct a multi-branch, you can do if else, you can chain if else, which is understandable, but I'm interested in recursion specifically. Okay, recursion. There's no direct support for loops. For loops in M4, but macros can be recursive. There's no limit on the number of recursion levels other than those enforced by your hardware and operating system. That's a very good way to say that. I fucking love it. Based, truly fucking based. Loops can be programmed using recursion and the conditionals described previously. There is a built-in macro shift, which can, among other things, be used for iterating through the actual arguments to a macro. That is kind of based. So shift take any number of argument and expand it to all its argument except arg1. Holy fucking scheiße, meine Freunde. So yeah, essentially you have... That is fucking cool. I really like that. So an example of this could be use a reverse macro. Damn. So, okay, you do if else. Ooh, this is so fucking cool. Have you noticed, meine Freunde, that you define the name of the macros with backtick and straight tick? Have you noticed that? Do you know why it is not just double, like two backticks or just like this, like that? This is to denote the beginning of the quote and the end of the quote. And as soon as you know the beginning of the quote and the end of the quote, you can do nesting. We already Fuck! Dude, we talked about it in Russian. in my Russian language stream, Russian programming language stream. We didn't talk about it in English. Damn, like I'm referring to something that majority of my audience doesn't even know. Right, but okay, so I did an April Fool's stream which I did entirely in Russian, and I talked about my programming language, my Russian programming language that I developed. So I can actually give you the link about this language. So it's called Good, I think Good Practice Language. I think that's what it's called. Good Practice. How do you? My God, how do you spell it? Good Learning Language. Was it Good Learning Language? Good Training Language. Good training. Yeah, so it's a good training language. There we go. So, and the cool thing about this language, it's not a, April Fool's language. I just replaced some keywords in C++ with defines. Now it's a different language. Ha 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 ha. No, it's not that. Wait. Like, who the fuck do you think I am? Who the fuck do you think I am? This is a full-fledged real language developed from ground up, from scratch, without even LLVM. It's a proper programming language that compiles down to fast assembly. Right, and it actually looks like this. Right. And it's not a preprocessor trick. It's a real fucking programming language that analyzes this entire shit and compiles down to x86 64 assembly. I want to get this clear as possible, because people like to mistreat it. Oh, it's just an April Fool's, a bunch of defines. Ha 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 ha. Fuck you. Who the fuck do you think I am? This is a proper language. So anyway, let's put that out of the way. So I did this stream about this language, and it was entirely in Russian for the joke. And the interesting thing about this language is that it has very special string literals, right? It has a very special string literals. And the string literals use the quotes, use not really the English quotes, right? These like double quotes, but it uses the French's quote, which are like Anglo quotes. Link to good training language string. Right. So where was my thingy, my jingy, main 4? Right, so the quotes are actually like this. Oh, I can't type that, I don't have a compose key, but yeah, so they usually look like this. Right, and because the opening quote and closing quote are different, you can actually, nest them. Thank you so much. So chat actually give me the quotes, yeah, so this is how they look like. So that means you can actually have nested quotes and you don't even have to escape them. Like seriously, you don't even have to escape them. I don't know why this is not a thing in a mainstream programming languages where string literals are defined with quotes that are actually different for the beginning and for the end. Because that enables a very natural nesting of the symbols without requiring any escaping or anything like that. That would be kind of cool. Cause America, well, I mean, here is the M4 developed by Americans, and it uses different symbols for the beginning of the end. It has nothing to do with the nationality of the authors. It has nothing to do with that, right? Because here's M4, it does the right thing, it's developed by Americans. Go figure, am I right? So yeah, I think it should be a thing, right? Even in the modern programming language where like strings are actually defined like that. It's just like nobody really thinks about it too much. But again, and the cool thing is that you can nest them, and there you go. You can have nested commands like this, right? So you define reverse, and then the body of the reverse also includes some of these, quotes in here. But again, since the beginning and end is different, you can nest them, and you don't fall into this /escaping hell like you usually do in Bash. Right? When you do when you work with Bash, quite often you are deep down in this escaping hell. Right? Here, because of how you quote things, you don't fall into that. Isn't that fucking cool? I think it's freaking cool. So yeah, we need more languages like that, I think. All right. So here is a reverse macro, right? So we have a reverse, and interestingly, you just have if else, and I don't understand what the fuck this macro actually does. Why is it defined like that? This is so bizarre. Oh, wait a second. Okay, so we accept that, right? And if else, all right, that's very interesting. And then you just shift, It probably has something to do with the meaning of this stuff. So the meaning of this stuff is kind of a special, right? So you do reverse. We can even try this entire thing. Okay, so if I try to run this entire thing, okay, at least it terminates, and then I can do reverse foo, right? So something like this. It just returns foo, and then we can do bar. Okay, and it actually reverses all of these things. It also included the comma. Look at that. It also included the comma, which is rather interesting, huh? So, and this is buzz. Okay, buzz bar foo. Okay, that's pretty cool. So the thing I have in here, the questions I have in here, is what is the hash thing in here, and why there's no one argument like in here specifically. I guess it treats commas as list separators. Yeah, actually this is a good idea. Like, use something like this. Right, so I think maybe some languages optionally should support this way of defining string literals. That would be actually kind of cool, I think. So if the length equal to 0. Okay, so this is the length of the arguments, and this is comparison to 0, I suppose. So yeah, I think there was something about if else somewhere there. Right, so here's if else. Oh, string 1, string 2 equal. Okay, so it's basically what happens when it's equal. The other condition, if else, is which is more powerful. It can be used as a way to introduce a long comment as if else construct or as multi-branch, blah blah blah. Used with only one argument simply discards. If called with 3 arguments, if else expand into equal. Okay, so I suppose it sequentially checks all of these things, right? So it checks string 1, string 2 equal, that means equal 1. If it's not, it checks string 3, string 4, if it's equal, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. Right, that actually makes sense, I think. Right, so if this thing is, if the amount of arguments for the reverse is equal to 0, you expand to nothing. If it's equal to 1, you expand to the first argument. If it's 2, you continue recursive call. That is actually, that makes sense, right? So we can even try to define something like foo. And in here, we're gonna actually expand to the amount of arguments. So if I call foo, it end of the file string. That is kind of weird, but I mean, okay. Right, can I do GNU in here? End of the file string. I didn't actually expect that, so I suppose this is... Okay, everything's fine. So maybe what I have to do something like this. So do I have to do something like this? Why doesn't it work? Oh, it's also... Okay. Who designed compilation errors for this language? Who designed this language? Who fucking designed this language, mate? Get fucking damn it. So, Brian can... Oh. Brian... Oh. The creators of Unix and C. Okay, it's a very good... The error messages are so fucking great. Like, I really like it. This is a very cool language. Anyways. But yeah, so it would be actually better to have, like, you know, more descriptive error messages. But I mean, like right now it is developed by GNU, and I don't think you can expect that from them. But anyway, so let's try to call it like this. Oh, this is considered to be one argument. But if you... what if I provide something like this? It is still 1. No argument is still 1. But if I provide something like this, it is 2. Fascinating, not gonna lie. So can we just say, okay, replace it with your first argument. Right. We don't have any, well, I mean, we have to actually say something like, well, no. You have to, all right, very interesting. So this is going to be full. And if I just call it like that, but it's still considered to be one argument, whether you want it or not. But that argument is empty. Oh my God. So it is going to give me more. Oh my God. It is an empty argument. Okay, so it's that kind of language. Ooh. It's okay. Okay. String interpolation. Not oof, foo. Yeah, sorry. But at least now I kind of understand what the fuck is going on here, which is cool, I suppose, right? So I understand how this reverse macro works, which is nice. And I also want to sneeze, just super quick. Just a second. False alarm. Debate. I debated you all. I'm not gonna sneeze. Okay, what are the interesting things we can do in here? I wonder, can you have like a steady loop? Can you have a steady loop which just doesn't overflow or anything? That would have been kind of interesting. So tail recursive in some sense. While true. Well, I mean, there is no while loops in here. There's no loops in this language, right? So let me see. So tail, recursive tail call, maybe tail call. Okay, there's no tail call optimizations or anything like that. So, okay. So we need to, like, I kind of understand the idea of this language, right? So the thing we need to do now, probably, we need to introduce Raylib into this language somehow, right? We can basically imagine that all of these macros, they are basically function calls. Can we take the source code of M4 and add more built-in macros like that? More of them. So, and essentially introduce shit like init window, right? And in here we would say something like 800 by 600, and here we're gonna have something like hello from M4, right? So this is gonna be the first thing, right? So, and then we can introduce some sort of a loop, right? So we can do a loop. Within the loop, let me comment out this entire thing, right? So this is going to be DNL, define loop. So, and essentially in here, we're going to do something like this. If else, window should close is 1. By the way, I have to be really careful with this thing. Is there something to prevent me to making mistake with this code? That would be actually kind of cool. But anyway, so if this thing should not close, right? If this thing should not close, we probably have to expand it to more calls, right? Specifically something like begin drawing, right? So begin drawing and end drawing. And that's about it, right? And after that, we should just call loop. Yeah, makes sense. So something like that. Maybe we can even do something like this, like window should close. Right, so essentially modify the source code of M4 and make all of these things like built-in macros, built-in things. Yeah, that sounds interesting actually. Yeah. So maybe we should give it a try. Won't that easily overflow? It may actually easily overflow, and this is why I was specifically looking for tail call optimization, right? And I couldn't find any information. So that means we'll have to overflow in this specific case. But I mean, hey, it doesn't have any limitations, right? So it allows you to just do that as long as your hardware and software actually, you know, supports that. You should add extern command. It's too much work. It's just easier to simply hard code these things in the source code. Right. So it's just like it's easier to hard code this entire stuff. So in here we can do something like close window like this. Maybe we don't even have to do it like that. All right. So let's actually find the source code for this entire stuff and see if we can even build that or modify that or anything. So GNU M4, right? So where is the official website for GNU M4? So here's the GNU M4 website. Right, downloading M4. So we have that. The latest stable version is 1.4.19 and can be found at FTP. It's kind of interesting how all of the FTP servers these days provide HTTP protocol, and it's not actually FTP protocol. Right? Does anybody actually use FTP protocol on the interface or on the internet? Right, I don't think anybody used that. Like, it's just HTTP replaced it completely. So let me copy the source code of this entire thing, and we're gonna try to build it actually. Okay, so I'm gonna do just wget and c. So boom. I don't have unxz. Really? That's actually kind of interesting. xbps query rs unxz. Is that a thing? xz? Yeah, so okay. xbps install xz. Let's actually go ahead and install it. All right, so maybe now we should be able, there we go. We actually unpacked it. Do we have configure? So, okay, so here's the configure script. Let's just go ahead and run it, hoping that it will do something. That's a lot of checks actually for just a simple text transformer. But yeah, a lot of yeses, some no's, but I don't think they are too critical. Right, so majority. Oh, it even checks individual POSIX functions. It just like literally checks how it is POSIX compliant, my environment specifically. Okay, so can I build this entire thing with 5 threads? It's a 5 threads building of M4, and we managed to build that. Do we have a file that is executable? Here we go. Here is an executable file, and it does the thing. So I can probably run things with that file. Okay, so we managed to produce an executable. That's pretty cool. One thing we want to find a place where we define all of the new commands and stuff like that, right? So I'm interested in that specific place. Can I grep, for instance, for string literal, right? Okay, so here's the interesting thing. If else is a name that kind of stands out. It's probably going to stand out within the source code. And there's probably string literal that is literally if else somewhere, right? So because as you parse a language, they probably have like a switch case or maybe some sort of a table. And in that table, you have all of these names and stuff like that. So let's actually grab it. And here it is. We instantly found it. Okay, so that's cool. So this is where that is okay. So that's very easy to actually extend. So let's go ahead and maybe not add, but let's actually see how this entire stuff is implemented. So there's this is a kind of cool place to learn about all of the commands of M4 instead of reading that stinky manual, honestly. That's kind of cool. So you have eval. So, okay, what is M4 eval? Here it is, okay. So you have obstat, okay, OBS. Then you have a bunch of... Why is this so fucking straightforward? Can anybody tell me? And this is a GNU software. Why is it just... Alright. So, and yeah, that's pretty cool. So this section contains the top level code for the eval built-in. The actual work is done in the function evaluate, which lives in eval C. Right, so that means this thing does evaluate. Yeah, so it's a classical scripting language situation where on the edge, on the border between the scripting language world and the actual native runtime world, you have to do a little bit of a preparation, a little bit of a bureaucracy before actually doing any job, right? So because you need to pass arguments, you need to prepare things and stuff like that. It's a freaking classical situation. Kind of like like I recently was working a lot with WebAssembly because I'm currently rewriting my game from TypeScript to C3, right? So, and because of that, like I'm moving a lot of code from TypeScript to C3 to WebAssembly. And I gotta tell you, there is like a lot of friction on the border between the JavaScript world and WebAssembly. What is this control L? It's a sign for the new page. If you try to print it on a printer, when the printer encounters this thing, it will start a new page. That's what it is actually. It's a new page. So yeah. So I suppose like maybe it's also when you try to display like with, I don't know, when you convert it to PDF, it's also gonna go on the next page. RMS likes to control L things. Maybe. Right. I didn't really see that. Yeah. So. Oh, they splitted sections of code into... Interesting. Oh, that's actually super cool. Excuse me. And they have a little bit of documentation in here. It's kind of funny. That is actually kind of funny. Okay. So, Defon. So yeah, and I was moving some code from TypeScript to WebAssembly. And there's a lot of friction between these two worlds. This is because they kind of have fundamentally different memory models even, right? So because you have JavaScript objects and you can't easily pass a JavaScript object into WebAssembly. You need to do some serialization and, you know, stuff like that. And it's just like, it's a very annoying. And it's kind of like it could be solved with additional frameworks. But why was it designed so poorly in the first place that you need additional frameworks to fix it up? This is the thing about freaking web standards. I swear to God, they do this shit intentionally. Every time they introduce a new thing in a web standard, they always make it half-assed, so you have to develop a framework on top of it to fix it. It's almost like these motherfuckers are colluding with the creators of frameworks. So then they create these additional jobs. They can never fucking just solve the problem. No, they're gonna make a half-assed mechanism, so you have to create some sort of a fucking framework. Like, why the fuck they do that? This literally feels like they're colluding with people who are gonna be developing this framework. Or maybe they are the same people. Right, maybe this is the same people who are just like creating the standards, but then they go to open source like projects and developing these frameworks. Maybe it's literally the same people. I have no fucking idea. Somebody need to investigate that. But it's fucking sus, I'm telling you. It's fucking sus. Big React hold a lot of influence. Yeah, exactly. Excuse me. So, let's try to introduce something in here. I'm interested what is built in. Alright, so can I jump? I can't even fucking jump there, mate. Can't fucking even jump there. Can I? Do I have e tag? So e tag. I do have e tags. So let's find files in src with the name that is either C or H. Can we find all these motherfuckers? We can't. There's not that many of them. Actually, this is a rather small thing. If I cut this entire thing, so here is the entirety of the source code. And how many lines of C code we have? 8, almost 9,000 lines of code for just a text transformer. But I mean, so yeah. I mean, I guess it's reasonable. It's also very old, so it probably has a lot of like historical craft and to, you know, maintain some weirdness and quirks of original versions of M4 or something like that. So that's kind of understandable for this thing to be big. That is kind of understandable. So anyway, what I was trying to do, I was trying to just obtain the list of those things, and I just want to feed them into e-tags. Right, so I have a tags file. Here's the tags file, so then I can do some stuff. So here's the built-ins, and I want to be able to do the following thing, essentially jump to the definition of built-in, and it has a name, right? So, and some build fields. So whether it's a GNU extension, grox macro args, and blind if no arguments, and then a pointer to the built-in function, which is function that accepts opstack. I have no idea what the fuck is that. But I suppose it's some sort of like maybe context, or maybe it's literally stack, the call stack of the whole thing. Then the amount of arguments you have and the arguments themselves, which are token data. Okay, so that's actually really reasonable. So yeah, I don't know. So some of these things are GNU extensions, some of them are not. I suppose we're gonna assume that they're all false, right? So because the standard thing in here, they're all false. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to maybe introduce your mom. Right, so this is going to be M4, your mom. So M4 DNL, I'm going to literally grab this entire thing. I'm not going to follow this nice convention of like defining new pages and having these sort of boxes in there. Maybe I could. Okay, listen, maybe I could. So we can just copy paste this entire new page in here, and I can take this entire thing in here. Right, so we can say built in M4 macro designed specifically for your mom. Right, so let's actually align this entire thing. So it's a macro, it's specifically designed for your mom. M4, so it's a built-in attribute for DNL, right? So let's go back. Let's put it in here. So this is your mom. Maybe. Ooh, look at that. What is this macro? May be used. That's really funny. Yeah. Okay, so it's maybe to sort of like suppress warnings or something like that. All right. So at DNL. I'm looking for, I don't even know, how can I issue some stuff? One of the things I can do, I can essentially just print something. Your mom is a nice lady. Something like that. But I also want to actually embed that thing into the stream output. You know what I'm talking about? I don't really know how to do that yet. But I'm gonna try. All right, so can I just rebuild this entire thing and see if it's going to work? Okay, so M4 mom declare, but here, but not a function. Huh. But I never forward declared this entire thing. Is it for? Okay. And they have a special macro to forward declare this entire stuff, and it's. Why do you need a macro for that? Okay, I mean, fine, but this is kind of a weird macro. So, okay, sure. All right, so we introduced a new built-in into M4. That was actually kind of easy. Honestly, this could be a very cool interview question, similar to memcached interview question. Introduce a new built-in into M4, right? So just to test how quickly you can navigate the foreign code base, right? So the code base you never seen before, and how quickly you can extend it and stuff like that. I think it's pretty good. So let's go ahead and maybe test this kind of stuff. So I'm gonna create your mom M4. Right, so, and I'm gonna just like do your mom. I'm gonna call your mom. Calling your mom, by the way. Calling your mom, calling your mom. Your mom is a nice lady. There you go. We extended GNU M4 and added your mom built-in function. First. Isn't that fucking poggers, my friend? That is freaking fucking poggers. So yeah, I'm qualified to actually maintain M4, I suppose, because it's relatively easy, it's relatively straightforward. But I'm kind of curious, how do you like actually like issue tokens, right? Because it just printed it to the standard output, but is that sufficient even? Like, I don't freaking know. So is there any functions that can do some things? Oh, incur. Incur. What the fuck is the incur function? So does it increment a value? Right. Oh, you can have numeric arguments. Wait a freaking second. You can have numeric arguments, so that means I can do something like... okay, can I do incurs? Okay, so it even highlights that 68. And if I try to do... Okay, that is very freaking nice. So you can have counters. Bravo. You can have counters in this shit. Is M4 Turing complete? Yes. As far as I know, it is in fact Turing complete. Then we can have for loops. We can have loops with counters. That's what we can have. So let me see what else can we do. So okay, so we increment ship out. Oh, ship out. Ship out. Funny name. So I suppose this thing ships out the token or something like that. Shit out. Wait, why isn't it called shit out? Ob stack. Oh, ob stack is probably like where you put things. Damn, bruv. Okay, so you shit out objects. Okay, so it's an object stack. I see. Shit out. Shut out an integer. So, and it's actually pretty straightforward. You just do n to a. But where does it allocate that? What the fuck is n to a? Okay, so it's a local one. No fucking way. Don't freaking tell me you return str. No, it doesn't return. But what is s? Bro. Oh, it's static. Holy fucking shit. Like, I almost had a heart attack, bruv. I almost had a heart attack. I thought they allocated some shit on the stack and then returned it, the pointer to the stack. And it's like, I didn't notice the static keyword. And it's just... Okay. Rust, by the way, would have not allowed that. Rust would have not allowed that. But I mean, anyways. Shut out. So that's how you actually do that. So you can do obs grow, obstack grow, and I can't really find the definition of this entire thing, but I suppose it's just like you provide the pointer to the buffer that you want to grow, and then the rest of the stuff. So because of that, by the way, we can use obstack grow for your mom. So M for your mom. So here it is. And that's how we can do that. So, method. Did we eft? Oh shit, bruv. Look. We lost 359 frames. I really apologize for that. I think KGB is onto me. Right, so yeah, this is because I found their backdoor in M4. So we found this shed out function. And so where you usually shed out? Out of the backdoor. Haha! So, and KGB tried to actually cancel me after finding their backdoor. So anyway, so what we need to do? We need to take the yo mom message, right? And we need to put it into a separate variable. So then we can actually shed it out. So we're shedding out the string. Is there something like, there should be a function to shed out the sister. Ship out. Where is the ship out? Yeah, okay, so we just accept these kind of things, right? So and just shed out sister static void. And here we're going to accept the sister const char sister. I'm pretty sure there was already something like that, but I don't fucking know, man. I don't fucking know. So this is the sister. Wait a second, we lost the your mom message. Let's bring it back in here. So sister and sister. And then we can just OBS tag shit out sister OBS like this. We don't even have to provide a new line, I think. We don't even have to do that. All right, so shitting out your mom. So sorry. Right, so now if I try to do something like this, it actually shaded it out. It actually shaded it out, so that's very, very freaking nice. We will need to know how to do that, actually, right? So maybe not, right? So because we're going to be calling to Raylib anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much, right? Your mom's sister. Cool. So this is, all of that is actually easy peasy lemon fucking squeezy, mate. We need to link with Raylib, bruv. Bruv, I'm telling you, bruv, we need to link with Raylib. And you know what that means? We have to modify this clusterfuck of autoconf scripts that I never touched in my entire life. I never worked with autoconf. I'm telling you, bro. I never worked with autoconf. The only thing I did is configure, make, install, like everyone else. I don't know how to create my own things. So I think I might die in the process, actually. I think I might die in the process, so I have no idea how to do this kind of shit. So we'll see. So somebody gifting me subs. Thank you for encouraging me. By the way, let's actually take a look at the subs. So that's a lot of subs. Penadao, I think I already acknowledged you. Yilon Fass, thank you so much for Twitch Prime. Nemen, thank you so much for tier 1. Valini, thank you so much for tier 1 with the message Sodin Smug indeed. You Mod God, I hope we are pronouncing your nickname correctly. Thank you so much for 5 gifted subs. C flag and LD flag. That's actually not a bad idea, honestly. Right, so because they probably use that shit. So yeah, let's see. Anyways, so let me maybe find Raylib. Let's go to array san 5 Raylib. Where are the releases? I'm gonna grab the releases. 22 releases. So let's copy this link and wget. Let's go. Okay, we downloaded Raylib. I think I downloaded in a wrong place, honestly. I think I should probably put it somewhere here, like so. Okay, let's unpack this beer. So the beer has been unpacked successfully. In the built-ins, what we want to do? We want to include Raylib. So maybe I'm gonna do something like Raylib. And if I just try to build this entire shit, it's probably not going to build. Yeah, it can't find. Like, bro, in 2024, why Raylib is not part of the POSIX standards in 2024? Honestly, Raylib should just become a part of the POSIX standard at this point, right? I mean, it's just like why not? Just make it a part of the POSIX standard, bro. Okay, somebody suggested to just like do C flags. Can I just do, you know, Raylib? I didn't have auto-completion this shitty editor, for fuck's sake, mate. This editor is piece of scheiße. This straight up piece of fucking scheiße, mate. Oh. Alright, so let me actually grab this entire thing, and this is include. Okay, so we got that. And if I go to here and just put it in here, will it be... no, it didn't work. C flags didn't fix scheiße. It didn't fix scheiße whatsoever, so it can't find them, unfortunately. I wonder if this is because like it's looking that from a wrong directory. Maybe I have to put a dot in here. No, that didn't happen. You need to see flags on config. That's a good idea, actually. Let's take a look at the configure help. Okay, so do we have... Ooh, some influential environment variables. It's a very funny way to put it, actually. It's a really funny way to put it. Okay, so let's try to do this thing. I'm gonna reconfigure it. Let's go. Oh, it's gonna take some time. Does it even mention C flags anywhere? I didn't see it mentioned in C flags, so whatever. C flags. No, it doesn't even mention them. It doesn't even mention them. So let's go ahead and try to rebuild this entire thing. I should have actually done that with several threads. I don't know why I picked one single thread, but I mean... It actually worked. Thank you, random chatter in the chat. I really appreciate you. You were right. You could just like, yeah, we can just do it like that. But we don't really use any Raylib, so because of that, it kind of just worked. So it's kind of strange. But anyway, let's go into the built-ins and let's find the place where we can extend things. So here we need to introduce init window, right? And let's say this is going to be M4 init window. So in here, I feel like I'm going to create another page. So built-ins, built-in bindings for Raylib. So maybe I can actually simplify this entire thing like so. So, and then we take that, right, so then we take that, we put it in here, so this is going to be a init window. And in here we're going to just call init window 800, 600, hello from M4, like this. So that's literally what we're going to be doing. That's literally what we're going to be doing. So let's try to maybe build this entire thing one more time. So yeah, we need to declare it first, right? So we have to use this shitty macro, declare. No, what? I'm actually not gonna put a space in here. Yeah, I'm not gonna put space. Like there will be a space everywhere in all of the except this one. Fuck this one in particular. Fuck this one in particular. I'm not gonna add space in here. All right, so that's very cool. Now it fails with the linkage. Now it fails with the linkage, which means that we have to reconfigure this entire shit yet again, but with the other variable. What was the other variable? Does anybody remember? Is LD flags or something? I think it was LD flags. Does anybody remember? I forgot. Chat. What was the flag? What was the LD flags? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Who needs a chat GPT? Am I right? Flags and. So here come my flags. You can't see shit in this mist, and I understand that. So this is going to be libs, and on top of that, we're going to just do Raylib, maybe lib, Raylib A. We're going to link it statically, okay? We're going to link it statically. So now, M4 in here, I'm going to just put the stuff in here, and it doesn't even fucking compile. Checking whether the C compiler works. No. C compiler cannot create executables. Oh yeah, so okay, I see. It has to be big L. It didn't help. Big L didn't help. So let's take a look at the config logs, I suppose. What do we have in config logs? Configure exit. So LD flags. All right. Is it not libs? It's just lib. Am I dumb? Yeah, I am a dummy dum. It's not libs. It's a lib. It's a single one. Still no. What the fuck is going on? So is that because of the LD flags shit? Really? Is that the actual reason? I can't... Yeah, it is the actual reason, so it doesn't like LD flags. Am I going crazy? It's angry because of the missing space. You think it's because of the missing space? I don't think so, bro. No, it just doesn't like that because fuck me. Too many flags. Maybe that's the case actually. Maybe because of the second flag in here, right? So you can't see shit, by the way. Let me actually lift me up a little bit. So now you can see some shit. Just like I've seen some shit, now you can see some. Okay, we figured that. This is because of the second argument in here. Can we... Okay, what if I... How can we have several files in here? Pass it as a C flags, but can you put spaces in here? Okay, you can. So, and then I can put L lib Raylib A. It doesn't fucking work. It doesn't... L with... Yeah, L with colon, because it lets me explicitly say what kind of library I want to have in here. I can just like use that, but it will like by default pick up the dynamic one. Right, so... Okay, LD flags don't fucking work, mate. Who said LD flags? Who... Chat, we need to ban those people. I think these people have debated me that LD flags actually works. I think they debated me. Alright, so let me see. No. L without the colon? No. No. Okay. So is Raylib only dynamically linked in? It's actually both dynamically and statically. For some freaking reason, I just can't do that. Did you compile Raylib? I have already pre-compiled. You use LD flags wrong. Thank you, Sherlock. Very fucking cool. It doesn't even tell me what's wrong. That's the problem, actually. It doesn't even tell me because I don't see errors in the log. Right, so there's no errors whatsoever. So LD flags. So I don't know. This one contains any message produced by the compiler. Maybe I can go up there. But I can't find. X local compilation. Is that why? I think that might be the case. Someone needs to make a compiler that just says no when it fails no other BS. Yeah. Checking for X locale. Okay, so I guess that's what happened in here. It couldn't find X locale. Probably because something messed up some of the things in here. Those are the logs, not the failing ones. Whatever, dude, whatever. Shed doesn't work, we need to fix it. Shed doesn't work, we need to fix it. Okay, so I'm already streaming for like 1 hour or so. I think I need to... X11 devil? No, X11... But why do I need to... So what is the conf test C file? That's a good question, actually. Let's find it. Finally, people asking good questions. So type F name conf test C. It doesn't exist. Conf test C is probably generated automatically. Probably dangerous. You know, look, I don't like this hack. So using C flag and LD flags is already hacked by now on its own, isn't it? Right. The proper way to deal with this kind of shit is to actually add it somewhere in makefile in or makefile am or some other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel it? Do you feel my broskies? That's what it has to be, right? So C flags and stuff like that. So this is where, and then you have to recreate the whole thing, right? So you have to regenerate the config flags. LD flags separated by comma? No. No. Chat, we need to make a small break. We need to make a small break. We need to make a cup of tea. And once we have a cup of tea, we can fucking do that, mate. We can fucking do that. So, alright, let's make a break and alright. So, on the break, we kind of discussed a little bit, and I think I kind of know what's the problem in here. So, it uses these flags for all of the possible commands, including the ones that for just testing the compilers and stuff like that. And you see, the paths in here are relative, which means that they only work only within a specific folder in a system. But the commands could be actually run from all different folders, right? So they could be maybe run from the root folder, they may be run from maybe M4 or something, like we don't know. The build system may actually decide from what folder run all of these things. So, and maybe one of the solutions to this problem could be to literally not use relative paths, but rather use absolute paths, right? So let's actually give it a try. So how can we do that? We can just use something like, I don't know, the variable pwd, right, which actually gives you the absolute path in here, but not in here specifically, right? So let's go into M4, and if I try to do echo pwd, right, so it gives me like this path, and you can construct an absolute path using this variable, hopefully. So I'm going to just select this entire thing, pwd. Right, and let's hope that it's going to work. And it doesn't fucking work. So it was not that, apparently. Was not that. Huh. Oh, this is because libs. Yeah, I'm still using libs, so it contains... It was the problem. Okay, holy fucking shit, guys. We're getting there. Okay, we are fucking getting there, mate. That's pretty poggers. Cheers, by the way. So there's a lot of nonce. Okay, so and let's just do make a minus G5. And okay, undefined reference, still undefined reference. Still undefined reference. Even though we said just link that shit there, still undefined reference. Like, what the fuck, bro? How did that happen? Wait, so if I try to... I'm confused. I'm ironically confused. Like, it passed everything, but then it couldn't compile Raylib? Right, let's try to reconfigure this stuff by using just L Raylib. It doesn't work. Lib? No. Man, I wish I just like knew what's the problem, right? Knowing actual problem would have been so goddamn fucking helpful. But I just don't know the actual problem. It just simply refuses to work without explaining much, honestly. Maybe I just need to, maybe this is some caches, and I need to clean everything. So that could be the case, actually. Let's try to clean. Who would have fucking thought that the bottleneck of this entire process is going to be some shitty, overbloated build system? Am I right? Like, how is it not obvious that all of the problems, all of the sources of problems out of this shitty, you know, build system that generate files upon files upon files, generators of generators of generators, like, usually the actual problem is very easy to fix, but you always have to go through all of this building system bullshit. Like, why is it not obvious to everyone that's what we want to simplify? Like, I just don't understand. Like, it's so fucking obvious to me, and that's why I'm trying to get rid of all this build system, but I don't fucking know. I said it 1 hour, yeah. So, it's like, everything is so simple, except this one thing. It's just like, and it's the stupidest reason ever, actually, to be stuck on. Stupidest reason ever. Absolutely fucking dumb. But at the same time, everyone is totally fine with that. Nobody sees any problem with that. So yeah, so it doesn't work like that. And we don't know why. Like, there's literally no way to know why, because fuck you. Though, interestingly, like, it doesn't show everything. So if I try to do -b, CD path, like what the fuck is CD path ZSH version? Like what the fuck is that? Why? Is that Emacs doing? Why the fuck Emacs is doing this shit? Like I never noticed that. But anyway, ZSH version. So anyways. Oh, it's probably, oh, it's makefile doing that. Okay, so I'm being stupid a little bit because I'm tilted. So when I do -b, it tries to update some configure AC or shit like that. So maybe this is not what we actually want to do. But yeah, so we can't just link this shit easily. We can't just leave this shit in there. I wonder if I can, okay, so I can open the generated makefile, which is 2000, you know, lines of code, which I can't really zoom in properly because XFCE window manager is shit. We can try to find where is the, yeah, you can't really fucking find the target that is responsible for generating all of these things because it's all spread across this entire shit. Fucking hate these build systems. They're so fucking dumb. They solve no problems whatsoever. They just been there to piss you off. Anyways, so main mk. I just want to add a link flag somewhere. I just want to stick a link flag somewhere, and I can't fucking do that. All right. So what if it's not about the, you know, the flags? All right, what if it's not about the flags? Can we just simply do configure help and maybe C flags? No, it has to be. So I remember somebody was doing LD flags. Nah. Linking flags, for example, LDeep if you have libraries in a non-standard libdir. Ooh. Libs should go here, actually. Okay, so it's actually 3 all right. Why nobody told me that? Why nobody fucking told me that, chat? What the fuck? All right, so let's put this stuff in here. So this is that, and this is gonna be libs, like so. Hopefully, maybe, that will finally fix that shit. Let's go. Let's fucking go. You have to do a lot of busy work, exactly. That's exactly what it's designed for. To drain money from the investors, to pretend that you are working. That's what it's designed for, and I can already feel that. It brings back all of my office job. Fucking finally, bruv! Oh my god, it complains about math library. Oh. For fuck's sake, mate. For fuck's sake. Okay, so let's actually add math library. Let's go. Boom, let's reconfigure this motherfucker. Dub. First try, by the way, got cooter. Let's go. Let's fucking go. All right. Okay, so the fans are starting to work, right? And we're just configuring some shit, right? So, and the fans already starting to work. Let's go. I swear to God, like M4 is something that should be a single compiler command. Just a single CC. Just a single fucking CC. You can argue, look at how much code you have. Right, so you can argue. So let's take a look at all of these C files. And look at that, it's almost 10k lines of, how on earth can you compile all of that efficiently with just a single, you know, command line and stuff like that? Have you seen mini audio, my friends? Do you know what is a mini audio? I'm gonna show you something cool actually. Google up mini audio. Just look at that. Look, a mini audio, a single file audio playback capture library. Let's download this bitch. So let's go here, wget, I'm gonna actually put it in here. Right, it's 3.8 megabytes, first of all. 92,000 lines of fucking code. You can compile it with a single C command line, and it's gonna be fast, my friend. It's gonna be fucking fast. Right, so I can just do cc, actually C. I probably have to do xc to tell it that it's a C code, and I'm just gonna do something like that. What the fuck? Well, I mean, okay, it didn't include implementations, so let's actually include some of the implementations as we compile this entire thing. Okay, that's fair enough. That's it. 2.5 seconds. And it's a single file bigger than M4. Doesn't require any fancy auto tools generators with M4 and make file. None of that. Single compilation command. That's how it should be. This is actually like a proof that all of that shit is literally for busy work. It is literally for busy work. It has no purpose except just like you fiddle with that. Fucking useless. And also, there's a good example, SQLite amalgamation, right? So SQLite amalgamation files basically concatenation of all of the SQLite files, right? So you can compile it with a single C command as well, right? It's actually bigger. I think it's 200,000 lines of code, so twice as much. So yeah, I really don't understand that. And I think that the only people who defend this kind of systems are the ones who benefiting from them by sitting in the office doing nothing except fiddling with this shit, draining the monies of investors. I'm gonna say that. I think the only people who defend this kind of shit are those kind of people who's benefiting from that. And honestly, if I worked at an office, I would be also defending this kind of shit, right? So because like I'm doing nothing useful, sitting just all day in the office, fiddling with that and getting paid, regardless of the outcome at the end of the month, give me that. So yeah, job security through obscurity actually works. Isn't that amazing? It's fucking amazing. So yeah, fucking amazing, meine Freunde. Bureaucracy driven development, yeah. And it works so fucking perfectly because all of these managers are completely fucking computer illiterate. They're so fucking computer illiterate, they can't even comprehend that all of that is just a bullshit. Like, they just don't know. Maybe they do know, and they just playing into that game. I don't fucking know. But anyways, we, I suppose, managed to compile this entire thing. Right, so let me see. What were we doing? I forgot. Alright, so let me try to build this entire thing, and it compiles. Okay, cool. So what we want to do, we're going to go into your mom. Alright, and I'm going to just run src m4 on your mom. And there we go. So it says 69, your mom is a nice lady. But now here's the moment of truth. Can I init a window out of this shit? I can. And it actually started fucking Raylib. So we just officially called a Raylib function from M4 script. Raylib is so goddamn cross-platform, you can call it from anything. You can literally call it from anything. And guess what? It is written in pure C. So, speaking of whether C is relevant in 2024, piece of code written in C literally works everywhere. Not everywhere where there is a browser, everywhere. Fucking everywhere. Not just where there is a browser. Fucking everywhere. That's why C is a programming language of planet Earth. It is a programming language of planet Earth. Humanity programs in C. And occasionally just wraps around C code with more convenient wrappers and stuff. But humanity programming in C, whether you like it or not. I personally fucking hate it. I think C is shit. But that's just like how it ended up being. And I'm saying all of that not because I'm a huge fan of C. I fucking hate it. I'm just pointing out at the truth. It's a shitty language, but it's fucking everywhere. It's a programming language of planet Earth. I'm sorry. Sorry to tell you that, but that's just the truth. Anyways, cheers. We'll get through that. Don't worry about it. So yeah, anyways, meine Freunde. You know what? Like, I want to be able to actually customize, like, what kind of, you know, size of the window I can put in here, what kind of other things, like, for example, hello from your mom M4 file, right? I want to be able to do these kind of things. You know what I'm talking about? You feeling me? You feeling me, Mabrovsky? Yeah, that's what I want to do. So, but the question is, how can we actually do all of that stuff, right? So how can we even do all of that stuff? So let's go into the built-ins and let's find M4 init window. Right, so we have arguments in here. And so we have to check the arity first, I suppose. We have to say if the amount of arguments is not 3, we have to throw an error of some sort, but I'm not really sure how exactly to do that. So let's actually find M4 shift. I just want to look at some example. Okay, bad arg C. Okay, there is this thing called bad arg C. Ooh. Yo, this is actually kind of cool. So too few arguments to build. Damn, Brevsky? What the fuck? So bad arg and it, yo. So we can use that to report arguments. Min max. Huh. Okay, so M4 init window. Let's actually find the shit. I'm gonna put this stuff in here. All right, so argv 0. So minimum is going to be 3, maximum is going to be 3. This is what we're going to say in here. All right, and then I'm going to try to recompile this entire stuff. Right, so we're going to recompile it with 16 threads. Right, as far as I know, I have 16 CPUs, right? So that means I have to use 17 threads. Let's actually see how quickly it will recompile this entire thing. Okay, so it recompiled it within 200 milliseconds, and it recompiled it with an error, so it failed quickly. It failed quickly, so what's up with that? So, okay, token previous implicit. So it's defined somewhere down there. It's kind of give friendly warnings if built-in macro is passed on inappropriate, but I want to be able to use it up there. So am I just using it? You know what? I feel like all of the macro things, like macro your mom, should be actually defined after some helpers. Yeah, we need to move them. We actually need to move them. Okay, so this is that. I need to put a new page in here. So how can we even do all of that stuff? I feel like we need to find the first macro, which is M4 file. So here it is. Print all arguments. Okay, make steps, make temp. Okay, so I presume that this is where all helpers stop, and we will be able to do something like this. All right. So I'm not sure. It's kind of weird, all of that. But honestly, what if I just put that at the bottom? Let's just put everything at the bottom. I think that would make sense. All right, let's try to rebuild this entire thing, and it works. All right, and after that, I think I'm gonna actually run this entire thing right away. So let's go to your mom. I'm gonna just remove. Maybe just put DNL in here, like so. And let's just do src M4, your mom M4. Too few arguments to build in init window. All right. But it's actually just a warning. It's not an error of any sort, so I don't really like that. Bad arg. Let me see. So, bad arg. It's a friendly warning. But it's M4 error. I suppose it's fine, right? So it's kind of fine. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to actually parse specific integers and stuff like that. So let's take a look at M4 incur macro. Let's take a look at it. So what it does, it checks that the first argument is a numeric argument. So that's probably something that we want to do. So it allocates like int value and just parses it like that. So I think we can actually do something about that. Right, so let's go to here, and essentially we're going to have width and we're going to have a height. Right, so the first arg1 is going to be width and the second one is going to be height. So the question is there some other arg functions? Is there some other? So there's a numeric arg, but what if I want string arg? We can try to take a look, like what kind of macros built-ins accept strings? M4 define probably accepts string first. Okay, define macro in here. So token data. Okay, so they're explicitly looking at the type of the token, and if it's a text, if it's not text, they say, right, so it's not defined. Okay, so we can try to yoink this idea from here as well. Right. So let's actually go back. And then what else do they do with this argument, actually? What else do they do with this argument? So they only check the type, which is kind of useless, I think. Define macro. All right, so define user macro. They just do it like that. Ah, it accepts it. So arg returns string, if I understand correctly. So token data text. All right, so it returns it as a text literally. So we can actually try to do something about that. Invalid macro name ignored. Right, so what we want to do in here, we just want to say that invalid title ignored. Right, so invalid title ignored, and this is going to be just a return. But after that, and it has to be, by the way, this one has to be 3, I presume, and then we just do arg3. So that's how we're going to parse the command line arguments. You know what's cool about this approach that I'm using in here? I'm extracting the knowledge out of the code base. I have no idea how to parse arguments of built-ins. Like I never worked with M4, right? So I don't really know this code base. But I just looked around at other functions, saw how they do that, and you saw me, I literally just copy-pasted chunks of code into here, and I just sort of retrofitted these chunks of code into my case. I basically extracted the knowledge out of code base. Code bases contain knowledge. You as a programmer must learn how to extract that knowledge. Open secret of senior programmer. Exactly. This is being a senior software developer is literally knowing how to do what I just did. Right. Because the first sign of junior is just looking at the code base and not knowing how to do a certain thing and go ask it. Seniors just like look around at the source code, see how it's done in other places, and just replicate it. So that's how it works. That creates, though, very interesting side effects, actually. So you may have a particular useful piece of code that contains a little bit of a crappiness, maybe even contains a little bit of a code. And if everyone starts to copy-paste these useful pieces of codes like that, an error or crappiness basically spreads itself. It basically multiplies. Right. So some pieces of codes become kind of like viruses that spread across your entire code base and become difficult to sort of like get them out of it. So yes, this software transmitted disease. Code certification. Yeah, because copy-pasting this piece of code is just easy at the time. But then you have to spend effort like cleaning things up. And cleaning things up is rather difficult. you have to properly clean things up and to properly reverse the entropy of your code, you have to do a very painful thing, which I think Jonathan Blow calls like a sledgehammer programming, where you rip apart the entire code base to the state that it's not usable and not even compilable and kind of reassemble it back. Something that I recently did with Coil, by the way. So yeah, recently to rewrite Coil from TypeScript to C3, I had to sledgehammer the entire code base into WASM module. But as of right now, Coil is mostly WASM. It's mostly WASM. It has a little bit of a TypeScript, but I mean, yeah, so not that much. Do we have a Coil in here, by the way? I think I don't have a Coil. We can actually copy paste it. I mean, clone the whole thing. So let's just grab this shit. And I'm going to just compile this entire thing. So it's a git clone. It's cloning. Seems to be cloning. Okay, so we clone this entire stuff. All right, so I probably want to do something like npm install to install all of the crappy dependencies of web. So 15 packages, by the way, not that many. The majority of the dependencies coming from the web server anyway. So we can try to maybe build, run build script. I don't have a C3 compiler in here, so it's not going to build easily, but I don't really have to because the WASM modules are there. So we can take a look at how many lines of TypeScript they have. It's like 600 lines of TypeScript, and how many C3. And C3 is 2000. So majority of the code is written in C3 and compiled into WASM module. And yeah, and the game still works. It still works largely as it worked before. So if I go into GitHub.io Coil, there we go, it still works, and it's actually 60 FPS while I'm also streaming, but I mean, I have a new laptop as well. So it largely works the same, but majority of the code, pretty much everything, is in WASM, including producing and parsing binary protocol messages, right? Because it's a client-server application, and it communicates through WebSockets using binary protocol. And client WASM module produces the bytes of the binary protocol, and server WASM module parses the bytes of the binary protocol. The only thing that JavaScript does in here is just it takes those bytes from the WASM module memory and sends them over the WebSocket. It doesn't deal with the bytes themselves. It doesn't even know how to parse them. All of the parsing and producing is actually done within the WASM module. So a lot of, like, pretty much the entirety of the game is in WASM. No way it's all in WASM. That's inhuman. It's not that much. It's only 2,500 of lines of code. The entire game, the entire crappy game, unfinished game, is just 2,500 of lines of code. Again, mini audio is 90,000 lines of code. Except if well, okay, so let's not talk about that. But yeah. So Sifon is actually talking about very funny piece of code in client, right? So where the JavaScript provides the modif for WASM module, because WASM module as of right now cannot use its own fmodif. So I'm pretty sure WASM virtual machine has an instruction for fmod, and I'm pretty sure LLVM has an intrinsic to call that instruction. It's just at the time I didn't want to spend time. It does not? Oh my fucking god. Okay, the situation is actually worse than any. Okay. Welcome to the web, everyone. So what can I say? What can I fucking say? Welcome to the web technologies. They didn't put web to WebAssembly for nothing. Right, there was a reason they put web in there. Anyways, so I'm gonna give the link to Coil, and soon we're gonna get back to the development on Coil, by the way. So we're gonna get back because we're pretty close to actually this thing being rewritten in C3. We're gonna do some cool streams on that, right? So we're gonna write WebAssembly library for working with WebSockets from scratch. So that's one of the things we can do. And another thing is I want to create a native version of the client so you can play outside of the browser. And I also want to preserve the browser version, right? I want to have a system where you can use either the browser client or a native client, and they both work together to the point that one player can be in the browser, another player can be just using native application. So that's my goal, actually. And by the way, I just got an idea. Since all of the rendering happening into the memory, we can actually make it display in a terminal. So maybe we can create a version of the client that just prints stuff on the terminal. We can do that, right? So you can have 3 players, one plays from the browser, another one plays from X, another one plays from literally terminal without Xorg or any GUI. From TUI. We can do that. Like, it's technically possible, theoretically. We should try that. And yeah, that would be actually fucking cool. Yeah. That's fucking cool. So we'll see. I'm gonna pretend that I didn't see that. Anyway, so let's continue. So we have that. I don't even know if the shit compiles. I don't even know if the shit compiles. So let me see. Make J17, brother. It compiles, I think. I think it compiles. I think it in fact compiles. Hook TUI. I swear to get somebody actually made it. I swear to get somebody made it. Let me actually Google it. Hook TUI. Yeah, this is not what I want. GitHub. No, nobody done that? Are you for real? Are you shitting me? Hook GUI. Well, I mean, somebody made Hook GUI. Hook TUI? No. But what about GUI? Somebody done that, but it's 20. Okay. Oh my god, they didn't know that. It's 2021. 3 years ago. It's before the meme. Free real estate, yeah. Why nobody came up with that idea? Strawberry, you genius. You came up with a name that nobody thought about before. Holy shit. Yo. You can capitalize on that. You can capitalize on that. Especially if you create a domain or something. Squad the repo name now. Well, I mean, there's always namespace in front of the repo. You probably want to squat the organization name, right? Hope TUI. It's free. Free real estate. Free real estate. How do you create a new organization? Create free organization. Why do I have to? My personal account. Did it create it? Did it create it actually? Oh fuck it, create. I own Haktui. Holy shit. I own it first. Fucking first. So I actually need to. I don't remember my password. Just a second. Squat it! Fucking squat it! Right on the stream. Right? It's mine now. It's mine now. Ooh. Invite me? Okay. So how do I invite somebody? Invite someone. Lane layer. Invite. Let's go. Okay, let's continue. So we need to continue this entire shit. Isn't it kind of funny how in a modern tech culture, just squatting the name of the project is more important than actually fucking building it. I don't even have to build this shit. Like, I really don't even have to build this shit. I just own a name. I probably need to create a logo, maybe a website, and then I can raise some money from the VC investors. I don't have to build this entire shit. It's just like I can... Like, it's so fucking bizarre. It's no wonder yet. .git bubble. It is literally a bubble. Like, tech is suffering from yet another fucking bubble. So... a landing page POG, yeah. I freaking hate it. Hate it. Anyways, let's continue. So this entire shit built. Alright, and one of the things, by the way, we can now control. I can now customize the size, right? So I can do something like this, right? So we can do full HD. Hello from custom window. That's what we can do, right? So, and let's just rebuild the whole thing and do src m4 your mom. Let's go. So we can't really see, but maybe the title is actually in here. Access arguments to build window are ignored. Huh. Display screen size 600. Yeah, this is really weird. It feels like I didn't rebuild thing properly at all. Right. Because... did it rebuild everything? I don't see it. Look at that. Why is it still complaining about extra arguments? Yeah. Access arguments to building are ignored. Your mom 3. Is that because of this stuff? Is that because of this stuff? I'm not sure. Let's actually investigate, chat. So I'm gonna define foo. I'm defining foo. And in that foo, I'm going to just say how many arguments we have. So in the foo, I'm gonna pass A, B, C. Right, that's what I'm passing in there. And there's 3 of them, which is understandable. So can I just not put that stuff in here? So there's a 1. It's an 1 argument. So, okay, that makes sense. What if I do something like this? So this is going to be foo, and this is separated. So there's 3 arguments in here. Makes sense. Actually make sense. So init window, let's go. And it still says that there's some access arguments to built-in init window ignored. I really don't know where it gets the access arguments. Am I... no, everything's fine. Okay. So this is that, and this is that. Everything is... access... how do you spell access? Let me find who prints this thing. Who actually prints this shit? It is printed... It is printed in here. It says that access arguments... so when max is greater than 0 and the amount of arguments is greater than the max, but that is not true. Right, so we said that the max minimum is 3 and maximum is 3. That's what we said in here. So I'm hella confused, honestly. I'm hella confused. Is that because it's actually 4 of them? So $. I'm a bit sussing right now, chat. I'm a bit sussing. Can I just print something like this? Because I need to know. So this is gonna be new line. Sussing daily, yeah, exactly. M4 init window Z arg C. I have a suspicion that this motherfucker actually gives me 4 and the first argument is the name of the function or something like that. So let's do 17 and let's go. It is 4. I actually saw that. It is fucking 4. Why is it 4? Can anybody tell me why is it 4? So even though, yeah, I suppose it's an extra 1, but then when I'm doing this hash thing, yeah, like, you know, the dollar hash, it returns 3. Print 0, oh, the name of the macro itself. I think it is the name of the macro itself. We can try to confirm that. Right, so let's put s in here, and the way we get that is arg0, I suppose, because arg returns you this thing as a string. Yeah, it is the, okay. So I suppose what we have to do is 4, and only then it's going to do the right thing. Okay, so that's how we learn things, I suppose. Do we have title? Yeah, we don't really have title. And the annoying thing here is that it is still 800 by 600, and this is because, my friend, we don't really use any of that shit. Width, height. Let's try to recompile this entire thing. And if we take a look at that, so it is using the screen resolution that we passed through the script of your mom. Right, so I can put 4, 3 in M4, by the way, and it is actually passing that stuff in there. Look at that. Look at that, my friend. Look at that. Isn't it epic? I think it's pretty epic. So we need to, I think, sustain the loop somehow. Right, so we need to be able to sustain the loop somehow. Yeah, let's see. How are we gonna be approaching this entire stuff? So the thing we need to do, window should close. All right, so M4 init window. This one is going to have space, by the way. Right, window should close. So this is the next intrinsic that we're introducing in here. Right, so this is going to be, let's actually do something like that. So window should close, and we're going to be allocating this stuff down there. So this is going to be 13. Sorry. Window should close. So this may be unused, but we don't really care. I suppose we don't care about the arguments at all. Wait, what the fuck is going on? Wait a second. Yeah. This is what I want. Window should close. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna just call this thing. Window should close. But here is the interesting thing, my friend. We have no way to return shit. We literally have no way to return shit. How we gonna indicate that it's true or false? I think we have to literally shut out the 0 or 1. We literally have to shut out. So let's find the shut out function, ship out, yeah. So this is what we need to do. So if this window is true, shut out to OBS 1, right? Otherwise, shut out 0. We might as well even maybe shut out this thing. Something like this. So that's what we can try to do. Okay, so and how are we going to even do all of that? So let me put DNL into all of that. And we can try to call, you know, can I do window should close? So I suppose if I do it like that, it kind of escapes it, right? Hopefully. So let me try to do that. Yeah, okay, so it escapes it. We can just put some stuff in here. Yeah, okay. So, and after that, I can do window should close, and it should actually return 1. Yeah, look, window should close, returned 1 in M4. But we never initialize the window. Right, so what if we initialize the window? It says window should close 0. Holy fucking shit, it works. So that means, chat, that we I fucking hate that it works. And it makes so much fun. You can write a game in M4. What the f... Excuse me. And it's probably not going to be that bad. But one of the things you have to do throughout the loop of Raylib, actually, you have to constantly call begin drawing and end drawing because it does the buffer swapping and stuff like that. So we need to create the bindings for those things. Right, so init window, this one is going to be begin drawing, and this one is begin and drawing. Right, so let's actually add all of these things in here. This one is gonna be begin drawing, and this one is gonna be and drawing. Okay, so let's go ahead and just create all of these functions. I think those functions are very easy to create. It's just like you mapping them to the corresponding calls, right? So this one is going to be begin drawing. Right, and this one is going to be just end drawing, like so. I'm going to be end drawing. So that means what we can do now in your mom, we need to define a loop. Let's go ahead and define a loop. So we're going to have a loop, and this is where we're going to have like if else. Right, in if else, window should close. Right, string equal to 1. Right, if window should close, string equal to 1, we just do nothing. Right, which actually kind of prompts us to call this thing twice, but I mean, I think calling window should close twice is totally fine. Right, if window should not close, what we're doing, we have to actually maybe do begin drawing. Right, so we're doing begin drawing and drawing loop. That's what we're doing in here. That's what we're doing. So we initialize the window, and then we do the loop. So that's how we organize the loop for Raylib, I think. May I write wrong ending quotes for maybe I did. Just a second. I think I didn't. Right, so okay, so this one, all right, so that's one. That one is fine. That one is fine. This one, everything's fine. That theoretically should just work. Theoretically. I wonder if this will overflow this stack or something like that, but maybe, I have a hypothesis that maybe, since it's not branching thing, it's kind of lazily going to just work indefinitely. One of the things we definitely want to do, we want to just put DNLs everywhere at the end so it doesn't include the lines and stuff. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things we probably want to do. But anyway, so let's go ahead. Fuck you! It works! Holy shit! It even... Oh my god. You... Fuck off. Look, notice how it created... you can't see this thing, but Emacs created this thing, which means it was shitting out a lot of things. And I pressed it and it actually made the Emacs hang. So it was still shitting out some stuff, and I think this is due to no DNL in here. Right, so I think we need to kill xkill it. Do I have xkill? I don't have xkill, bruv! Okay, can I do xbs install xkill super quick? Okay. So xkill and kill it. Yeah. It's kind of funny, like I don't have xkill while Emacs was hanging. I installed xkill and I just killed it. New laptop, by the way. I won't be able to do that on with the old laptop, that's for sure. So anyways, probe M4 and yeah. So I feel like the thing I need to do, by the way, is your mom. So it's still actually, the things are working. So let me see if anybody's busy looping right now. I don't think anybody's busy looping, everything's fine. So everything's fine. Okay, so I feel like I need to put a DNL in here so it doesn't include the extra lines. And that also probably means that I want to run this entire thing not from Emacs, but rather from the actual proper terminal, because Emacs is not a particularly great terminal emulator, unfortunately. Right, it's not great. Yeah, it prints these space shits, which is kind of bad. And I wonder why though. So this is because of these spaces. I wonder how can I simplify that. So can I just do something like this? Right, so it doesn't create all of that stuff. Okay, so this is how you have to do that. If you, oh my god. So maybe that also means I don't have to do that DNL in here. Okay, so I think we figured it out. I think we legit figured it out. It doesn't shit out too many things. So I also want to make it a little bit bigger, right? So I can do something like this, and where is that stuff? Yeah, so now this is the bigger window. I don't know what to say, honestly. This is so nerdy and so stupid at the same time, like holy fuck. Anyways, so yeah, what I want to do we have hexadecimal literals? So that's the real question I have. Do we have a hexadecimal literals DNL? So we can try to do something like xff and just try to, where's that? Okay, so there's nothing in here, but if I do inker, if I increment this thing, yeah, it's a non-numeric, so you can't have hexadecimals. One thing I can do, I can just convert it to integer, right? So I can always do something like ff00f00ff, and that's basically the number for the red color, right? So that's one of the things I can do. So after that, I can introduce clear color, and I can just pass this thing into the, I think it's not clear color, clear background, right? So that's what it is, clear background. So, and I just need to create a binding for clear background. So that's what I have to do in here. Right, so where are the built-ins? Built-ins. M4 init window and a clear background and drawing. So let's do it like that, clear background and drawing. So, and this one is going to be clear background, clear background. So here we're going to have color, and we're going to be parsing color as an integer. Though, you know what? We can actually accept all of that shit as separate arguments, honestly. The thing we can do, we can just allocate RGBA, right? And just literally parse all of them separately. So that means we're going to accept 4 arguments plus the name of the thing. So that means it's 5. It has to be 5 specifically. So this one is going to be RG3B 4A. So we have RGBA, and then after that we can do clitoral, clitoral color, RGBA. So this is what we can do in here. So that's pretty cool. So that means here, when I do the clear background, I can do 255, 00, 255. So that makes it a little bit easier to work with. So, and that means I can easily customize all of that stuff. So make G17, right? And it doesn't even compile. So because I forward declared it incorrectly, so I declared it as clear color, clear background. Yeah, I never declared it. Where's the declaration? M4 clear. Ah, background. I see the problem. All right, so what do we have in here? And now I can try to run the whole thing. It's red now. Okay. So, and your mom, I can go now. This is M4 script. So what about some green? What about it's green now? So that's pretty cool. That is actually pretty fucking cool. So yeah, I did a Raylib speed run in M4. Can your Rust do that? Can your Rust do that? It actually technically can, but it's a little bit more difficult. So anyway, that's just to prove my point that if you have a piece of code in C, it works everywhere. Not everywhere there's a browser, not everywhere there's something, and it works everywhere. It is the programming language of planet Earth. Humanity programs in C. This is what it is. And yeah, we need to actually maybe release that as a separate build of M4 with like the fact that it doesn't Stack Overflow is fucking amazing. So that means the system that M4, the engine of M4, doesn't really use the stack when it does the recursion. I suppose it just expands a little bit, then tries to expand again and again and again, and it's just like it turns into this like, you know, lazy stream of things, right? It's a lazy stream of characters. That's what it is, I suppose. And if you make your loop not produce any output, it just works, right? It just sustains this loop, and it's fine, right? As you can see, it's sustaining, it's just like not blowing out. Or is the memory even growing right now? This is an interesting question. So if I do B top, it's actually too small, right? So what's about the memory? Where is the memory though? I didn't see the memory. So here's the memory. Used memory right now 3 gigs, but I'm actually not sure. So what about htop? Let's do htop. Okay, the memory is not even growing. So it is looping right now through recursion, right? So this thing is looping through recursion right now, and it's not growing any memory. So this is actually a pretty cool engine, right? So that means it is basically works as a lazy stream of characters, and since our loop does not produce any characters, yeah, it essentially just works. It starts to busy loop a little bit. It's busy looping a little bit, but this is because we didn't set any FPS, right? So we can actually add, you know, a function binding to set FPS. But yeah. I thought only functional language had a tail call optimization. I'm not sure if it's explicitly tail call optimization. I think it's just a side effect of how M4 engine works. Right, so because M4 engine has this obstack thingy, which I don't really know what it is, right? So the function, so here's the binding, and it has this obstack. And when you printing something into the output, you actually are shipping out characters into that obstack, right? You actually shipping it there. So I can't really find the definition of this thing very easily, so let's actually grab it. So let me see what the fuck is that. So stack, obstack. Where's the definition? Can you just give me the definition? Oh, fuck you. Can I have bro? Even tags doesn't tell me where it is. Where is it defined? Can anybody tell me? So is it? Probably have to manually look for that. Extern obstack, extract obstack. Okay, so there is static stack obstack. We can try to do something like that, sure. Okay, thank you. But there's, where is the definition for this fucker? Okay. Oh, finally, Jesus Christ. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so control current object in current chunk. Preferred size. So it even uses some sort of chunks in there. Chunk functions. Damn. Some advanced fucking system. So obstack.h. Summary. All the apparent functions defined here are macros. The idea is that you would use the pretested... Okay, so this is not really... I'm more interested in what the fuck is obstack. Okay. They didn't really explain what is obstack, but I suppose this is sort of like the core of their engine. Right, so it does all of this magic. It does all of this magic, which is kind of cool. All right, so thank you so much everyone who subscribed. Felix, thank you so much for Twitch Prime. Metal002, thank you so much. Washimonacat, thank you so much for tier 1. And X Premix. X up remix lol. Thank you so much for Twitch Prime as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, good. So yeah, today was a pretty cool stream. So we created bindings for M4 out of all things. I think that's pretty cool. Honestly, like I knew that it's relatively easy to add bindings in here, but I was kind of doubtful that I will be able to create a sustainable loop. I was thinking that either I'm going to have problems with you know, Stack Overflow, right? So, and it won't be possible to have a sustainable loop, or it's going to actually just consume all of the memory because it creates like a allocates too much memory for the output or something. Like I was expecting something like that, but I didn't expect that it would just work. It is actually kind of insane that this motherfucker just works. So I honestly didn't expect that. I expected like a literal shit show. We had a little bit of a shit show with the building system out of all things, which is actually good proof that build systems today for C and C++ are completely fucked. Right, they're completely fucked because that's the only point of failure that we had on today's streams. Right, the only point of failure. Everything else was smooth, except the fucking build systems. Telling you, literal mechanisms for job security. Build systems were created literally for job security, nothing else. They don't solve any problems. They create problems so they don't fire you. Anyways, right, so I'm really surprised that we managed to create a sustainable loop and it just works. It's fucking amazing, I'm telling you, bro. Right, so it's so fucking cool. So here we go. So a little bit of a blue. I can control exactly what kind of color I can have in here. I can probably write a little bit of a logic. So these things supports numeric values, right? So that means I can have some sort of a state, like we can do some interesting thing with this stuff. We can do some interesting thing. But I think it's too much, right? I think it's too much. Mrs. can write code despite all the bullshit around him. That's kind of the point of a professional software developer, honestly. Any person who works as a professional software developer, it's their job to get the shit done despite all the bullshit. It's just like constant fighting through the bullshit, and this is why we're paid so much. This is literally the reason we paid so much, because nobody except us wants to do that, because it's unpleasant. As a senior front-end, I can confirm, yeah. You just have to learn to live with it. Yeah, exactly. It's just like, you can be mad at it, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. There's nothing much you can do about it, right? Kind of being mad at it kind of helps a little bit, right? So just mentally to grind through. But yeah, I just need to do that. Have a friend hatred for build system. Exactly. There's just like, I don't know, they don't solve problems, they only create them. They literally only create problems. I think it's some sort of like a fallacy that they somehow make things better. So anyway, it was a pretty cool stream. I really enjoyed it. Thanks everyone who's watching right now. I really appreciate it. Have a good one, and I see you all on the next recreation programming session with Mr. Azozin. Love you. Mwah.